Hello, everyone. This is Anna Pacheco, and it's SantaFe101.com. My guest today is Claudia Powell, and she's with Welcome Home Realty, and she's going to tell us all about real estate in Otero County. Claudia, do I have your permission to record this interview?
Absolutely.
Excellent. Well, good. So, explain to me. I guess Otero is a small county, and you're kind of all around the county selling real estate. So, tell me a little bit about selling real estate in Otero County.
Certainly. Otero County is, while it's small in population, we only have approximately 60,000 in the entire county. It is a very large county. We're located in southern New Mexico, 80 miles away from El Paso, and another maybe 80 miles away from Las Cruces. We're the home of Holloman Air Force Base, White Sands National Park. It just got upgraded to park. Three Rivers, Petroglyphs Monument, Valley of Fires. This is all within Otero County. I've been selling real estate in Otero County since 1986.
So you
All I've ever
definitely have
done my
seen some
entire adult
changes.
life.
So tell me, how has it changed since 1986?
I have.
That's over 30 years.
Oh,
What-
good heavens. In 1986, nobody was buying a house over 100,000. It was just unheard of. So the town has grown a great deal since 1986. Um, we still have several base economies, one of which, of course, is Holloman Air Force Base, Gerald Champion Hospital. We have the park folks from the White Sands Park now, Lincoln National Forest, and a large Border Patrol area because we're right border of Texas, right here.
And how far are you from the border of Mexico?
Uh, well, El Paso is 80 miles away on the border of Mexico as well. So we're pretty close.
Okay. Okay.
The nicest thing I think about Otero County is the Lincoln National Forest, because that is just a huge recreation area for folks that come here.
So you're too far south to have skiing, or do you have skiing in the mountains there, or is it mostly for picnicking or hiking or hunting? What happens in the Lincoln National Forest?
No, we actually do have some ski areas. Now we've been in a drought, as has been most of the West for quite a, but there are a couple of ski runs that manufacture tubing, and if we're lucky enough, we will get 2 or 3 snows during the year that are substantial. Up in a little town called Cloudcroft, which is a resort about 20 minutes away from Alamogordo. You actually go through 6 climate zones from the basin floor here in the Alamogordo is located up to Cloudcroft, which is almost 10,000 feet. So you climb approximately 6,000 feet in 20 to 30 minutes. It's pretty amazing.
And Alamogordo would be the biggest town in Otero County?
Yes, Alamogordo is really the largest town. Cloudcroft is considered a village. So is the town of Tularosa. It is also a village. Where I live in High Rolls, which is between Alamogordo, and it's considered an unincorporated village. All we have is a post office.
And in terms of like in Alamogordo, what would the average or the median cost of a home be in Alamogordo these days?
Well, I'm glad you asked. If I might look down just for a moment, I did
Sure.
print out. Uh, and so back in, let's see, 2019, we sold 851 units, residential units only, site built, new construction, and REO owned. Our average days to market for those were about 83. The 1,000, and our median price was 150,000. Here in 2020, last year we had an increase. We had 990 units sell with an average of 71 days on market and an average price which rose substantially to 193 with a median price. We have
I'm sorry, what was
very,
the median, what is the
very
median
sales.
price?
Pardon me?
What was the median price? I didn't hear that. I'm sorry.
Oh, for 2020, our
Yes.
median price was 170,000.
Okay. Okay. And so are you seeing, I'm speaking to realtors around the state, people are seeing a lot of growth, are you seeing a lot of people moving into your area?
Yes, we have. I'm kind of surprised. I really thought with the COVID issue that we would see a reduction in people moving here. Um, with Holloman Air Force Base, they the military around as much as they always have, but we're seeing a lot of people come to this area. I think when you have the luxury of being able to work from home, if you are living in a congested area, I think many people have been rethinking that idea. And so we've seen some extraordinarily beautiful homes on acreage sell up in the Cloudcroft area because that's high in elevation, full of pine trees, and sometimes the lots are 5 to 10 acres of privacy up in the mountains. Um, so interest in driving a lot of sales. People are able to buy homes at 2.5, 2.75% interest for a primary residence with a 30-year mortgage. So I think everybody who's wanted to leave where they are and come to the land of enchantment.
And so you sell real estate up in Cloudcroft as well? I think we're kind of frozen. So Claudia, we just had a break in our internet connection there. Tell me, how is Wi-Fi up in your area? If people can work remotely, they're watching this interview and they might be thinking of moving to Otero County. Tell me a little bit about internet services up there.
Certainly, Alamogordo is absolutely fine. As you move up into the more rural areas, especially higher in elevation, I have fiber optic. You wouldn't believe how much fiber optic is here, but cell service and Wi-Fi can get a little spotty. So I do have a booster here. I am able to work from home. I think it is a matter of traffic. Everybody is home. Everybody is working from home. So sometimes I think the system just gets a little overwhelmed. But basically, even at night during peak time when people are streaming stuff into their TVs, I have no problem doing that. But cell service, cell service by itself can be very spotty up in the mountainous areas because you've got so many valleys and ridges that block the cell signal.
So that's a good thing for if someone's watching this interview, they should kind of think about that before they might go, they might think of living up in the mountains in Otero
Oh yeah.
County. So Cloudcroft, tell me a little bit more. Is it more expensive up there than in Alamogordo because it's kind of prettier, or in the mountains, or?
It is. For one thing, Cloudcroft is it's a destination, a little bit like Ruidoso is here in southern New Mexico. Although it has a different flavor, it's a lot more rustic. So it's almost like a cowboy town, a logging town, if you will. And so up in the mountains, the little cabins sell for a lot of money because the people like to buy those for vacation homes. Folks in Texas own a lot of property up
And when
there.
you say a lot of money, what is a lot of money for a cabin up in
It's
Cloud?
relative. It's relative. We had, I was looking at the sales, we had only one property exceed, no, two properties exceed $1 million this last
Wow.
year. One sold for 1.9, one sold for 1.2. But in Cloudcroft, if you have a custom built log cabin that's 2,500 to 3,000 square feet on 3 acres, you could probably expect to spend around 550 to 750,000, which is compared to some of the more congested, built up areas in New Mexico, is still pretty inexpensive.
And but you mentioned log cabin. Would it have to be a log cabin, or can you build
Oh
other
no,
types of homes there?
people are building all kinds of things. As a matter of fact, the other day I just showed a property on 3 acres that was made out of Adobe, all the way surrounded by pine trees. So it's not something that you see usual. It was a Hogan style house,
Hmm.
round, and it was on, like I say, about 3 acres. And so no, we have all different kinds of building
And
styles.
what did that house cost? The Hogan, the round kind of adobe home on about 3 acres. What was that priced at?
That was priced at 250,000. Well, what was unique about the house is that it is off grid, and it was very rustic. It had composting toilets instead of a septic tank or city sewer.
Did you sell it?
I did.
Well, congratulations. So if people, a lot of people, like you said, are they're able to work from home now, younger families, maybe they want to get out of the Silicon Valley. Would Alamogordo be, I mean, where would they, like, say they have like young kids, what would be the best in Otero County? What would be the best fit for them? Because, you don't want to have your kids out in the mountains if no one's there,
Right,
there's no kind of services for children. What would
right.
be a good fit for somebody looking at Otero County?
It depends on what their lifestyle is. If you have a more traditional family lifestyle, then I would say in Alamogordo, where it's only 15 minutes from one end of town to the other, and there are quite a few. I think there's like 8 elementary schools, so they're neighborhood schools, uh, and everything is just really close by, and there's lots of kids, and so they don't have to go looking for friends. But if your family is involved in 4-H, rodeo, things like that, then Cloudcroft would be good. Tularosa would be good. It all depends on what kind of lifestyle that your family is leading. We also see a large growth in retirees. Retirees really do like it here because our climate is very steady. Unlike northern New Mexico, we very seldom, down in Alamogordo, mind you, not up in Cladcroft or High Rolls, but down in Alamogordo, we very seldom hit below freezing. So it's much nicer on old bones to live in southern New Mexico.
But you summers are much hotter. I know I watch the weather and it says, oh, I'm glad I'm not down south. You have your summers are the temperature's closer to like El Paso weather in terms of you're in the hundreds several weeks summer, aren't you?
No, if it spikes over 100, it's actually kind of unusual. Our average in the summertime, because we're at a higher elevation than El Paso, um, our average summertime temperature is right around 98, 95. And then, of course, with the monsoon flows in July into August, the temperature reduces too because of the cloud cover and occasional rains that we get. We only get about 12 inches of rain in Alamogordo in a year, in a good year, not in a drought year. In a drought year, it can be like 9 to 10.
And in terms
What
of
is
in terms of it being a retirement community, are is there an infrastructure for retirees? I mean, is there good medical facilities? Are
Yes,
there like are there senior living communities in Alamogordo?
yes. We have 2 senior living communities. We have a really good regional hospital. Um, it has, I believe, about 100 beds in it. Lots of really good doctors. Um, and we have a senior citizen center in Alamogordo that's very active, Meals on Wheels, lots of activities for the seniors. The building is maybe 20 years old. Then there's also a senior citizen in Cloudcroft, a senior citizen center, I'm sorry, in Cloudcroft, as well here in High Rolls and in Tularosa. The village of La Luz does not have a senior citizen center because it's not that big.
And tell me a little bit about Tularosa. What is that like? How's that community?
Tularosa is actually older than Alamogordo, and it reminds me probably more of the Santa Fe area than the other towns around here. They have an acequia system. There's a lot of agriculture there. We have people that are growing pistachio trees and pecan trees. And so in the original 49 historic blocks, the acequia flows through there and it's very green, lots of tall trees. It's a very nice community.
And are there more?
And
Are there a lot of Adobe homes in Tularosa?
in the original 49 blocks, yes. Now it doesn't look like Santa Fe mostly, except in Tule. Tularosa is the one that looks the most like people's traditional idea of what New Mexico should look like.
Well, it probably resembles. I have a friend who lives in Mesilla near Las Cruces. That probably
Right,
Tularosa sounds kind of like that. A lot of old, like kind of like the old West, what people would
right,
envision of the old New Mexico.
right. The Adobe style old New Mexico instead of the wood slat homes, the old ranch houses that were made out of wood.
And
I live in one, so.
what would an Adobe home cost in Tularosa?
Well, I just sold one that was priced at 93,000, but
Wow.
it was very small. It was only about 1,000 square feet. But it had water rights. It actually had ditch rights to the acequia, and you could flood your yard if you wanted to once every 7 days.
And so, but are there a lot of fixer uppers? I mean, most of the Adobe homes out in those areas, are they in need of repair?
I'd say the housing stock is probably about 50-50. 50 of them are going to, 50% will need repair, and the other 50% will be fairly high priced and in really good shape with owners that have lived in them for a long time. What we find is there's not a lot of turnover in those grand old Adobes that are 2,500 square feet. We might only have two or three of those on the market at any given time.
You know, families keep them. They keep them in the family. That's
They
the way to do
do.
it. So
They
you're
do.
saying that, so if somebody maybe is interested kind of like in the traditional old New Mexico Adobe casita or casa, that Tularosa would be a place to look at versus
Yes.
Alamogordo. And then
Yes. Tularosa.
uh, the area that you live in, what is it called again?
It is also an unincorporated village and it's called High Rolls.
High Road?
High Rolls,
Oh,
like
High
in,
Rolls. Okay.
yes, two
And what
words,
is,
High Roll.
and is it like mostly rural? Are you on a big parcel of land?
I live on a street that has approximately a circle street that has about 150 homes. And my street is, they're cottages that were built.
So I'm sorry, Claudia, what is the average cost of a home in High Rolls in Otero County where you live?
The average cost right now is up around 300,000 because it's Middle Earth. It's perfect. It's not too cold. It's not too hot. It's right in between Cloudcroft and Alamogordo. So we don't get the really cold winters that Cloudcroft does, and we don't get the hot summers that you have in Alamogordo. But it's a very small community. There's a post office there that has maybe 600 post office boxes in it. So the community's pretty small. At any given time, there may only be 5 to 10 homes for sale up here, and there's a lot of demand and not a whole lot of supply right now.
Okay, but in general, in Otero County as a whole, it sounds to me just from this interview that there's probably you can get more for your money in Otero County than say Santa Fe County, of course, or Los Alamos or Sandoval or Bernalillo. It sounds like if somebody's watching this video, with the exception of internet, because we've now had about 2 or 3 interruptions
Right.
just with this interview, that's kind of an issue. But other than that, and the fact that you could get some cool old Adobe homes, that's kind of still that those are becoming
Yeah.
harder to find here in
Right.
northern New Mexico. Well, good. Do you
Yeah.
have anything else that you wanted to say? You want to say, Claudia, before we end this interview?
Uh, Just that southern New Mexico, you need to come down and take a look at it because I know Santa Fe is very, very popular. Albuquerque is as well. But we have a lot to offer here besides just lower prices. If you are an outdoor enthusiast, you've got white sands behind you right now in your video. This
Right?
is the place to come if you enjoy the outdoors.
Excellent. Yeah, it is beautiful. Listen, I want to thank you again, and we'll stay in touch. How's that?
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity.
Okay, you take care. Thanks again.